relationship between price elasticity of demand, price, quantity demand, total revenue, and total expenditure. When price elasticity of demand is elastic, fall in price, a little fall in price will lead to greater rise in quantity demand. So total revenue of sellers and total expenditure of consumers will rise. And if we increase price, a little rise in price will lead to greater fall in quantity demand. So total revenue of sellers will fall and total expenditure of buyers will also fall. And the relationship between total revenue and price can be shown with this: whenever there is elastic demand, if we increase price, total revenue will fall. For example, if initially price was this, let's say it was $10 and we were getting 1,000 revenue, and now if we increase price from $10 to $12, total revenue may fall to 900. So this is the graph which shows relationship between total revenue and price in case of elastic demand. Now coming to the inelastic demand, and inelastic demand is basically price elasticity of demand will be lesser than 1, and now if we increase price with greater ratio, quantity demand will fall with smaller ratio, and as a result total revenue of the sellers will rise and total expenditures of the buyers will also rise. And if we decrease the price, in case of inelastic demand, change in price will be greater than change in quantity demand. So a greater fall in price will lead to a smaller rise in quantity demand. So sellers' revenue will fall and total expenditure of this buyers will also fall. So in this scenario, if we draw a graph to show relationship between price and total revenue and total expenditure, then it will look like this, because when price increases, total revenue will rise. If let's say price is initially P and revenue is initially R, if we increase price to P1, revenue will rise to R1. So price and revenue both are moving in same direction. And now we can further move to the unit elastic demand. In case of unit elastic demand, unit or unitary elastic demand, when PAD is equal to 1, change in price will lead to equal proportionate change in quantity demand. So if we increase price, quantity demand, when price increases, quantity demand will fall with same proportion. Equal proportionate change will be in the price and quantity. And if we decrease price, quantity demand will rise with equal proportion. या फिर with uh, if we decrease price, there will be equal proportionate change or rise in quantity demand, and as a result, total revenue of the firms and total expenditure of the consumers will remain the same. They will not be affected. और इस केस में अगर हम रिलेशनशिप देखना चाहेंगे, we can develop relationship between price and total revenue or total expenditure. Then graph will look like this. Like if we change price from P to P1, total revenue will remain the same. Let's say it's 1000, so it will again remain 1000. और अगर हम इसके लिए we can also make basically graph like this. If we change variables, let's say we write total revenue on X and we write price on Y axis, then it will look like this. Like total revenue will remain 1000. It will remain 1000 even price is P1 or price is P2. So change in price will not affect total revenue. Okay, now we can move to the next and last scenario, that is perfectly inelastic demand. When perfectly inelastic demand means elasticity of demand is 0. So when demand is perfectly inelastic, then if we increase price or decrease price, there will be no change in quantity demand. Quantity demand, if we increase price, quantity demand remains the same. If we decrease price, quantity demand will again remain the same. ठीक है, and as a result, if we increase price, total revenue and total expenditure will rise because consumers will still buying the same quantity. And if we decrease price, quantity demand remaining the same, total revenue and total expenditure both will fall. And if we draw the graph showing relationship between price and total revenue, then it will be like this. If we increase price, total revenue will rise, and this is price, and this is total revenue. If we increase price, price was initially P, let's say revenue was R. If we now increase price to P1, revenue will rise to R1. So rise in price is leading to rise in total revenue. Now we can suppose some numerical values to explain all this scenario. For example, in first situation when demand was elastic, we said that fall in price will lead to rise in total revenue. So, for example, if we have price and we have quantity demand and then total revenue. If price was initially 10, quantity was 100, so total revenue will be 1000. Total revenue is equal to price into quantity. So 10 into 100 will give us 1000. Now if we decrease price to $8, so our quantity demand will rise with greater proportion. Let's say now it becomes 140. So total revenue will be 1120. We can prove that um, so it is proved that fall in price leads to rise in total revenue. In case of inelastic demand, there will be a greater change in price and smaller change in quantity demand. So let's say we have price $10 initially and quantity demand is initially 100. So total revenue will be 1000. Now if we decrease price to let's say $6, quantity demand will rise to 120. So price decreased by 40% but quantity increased by 20%. So total revenue will be 720. So decrease in price has resulted in decrease in total revenue. अहमद आपको इस बात की समझ आई है? आप पीछे आप पूछ रहे थे ये वाला क्वेश्चन कि प्राइस कम होने से रेवेन्यू कम क्यों होगा?
जी सर, समझ आ गई है।
ठीक है. So in case of inelastic demand, because you decrease price with greater proportion, like 40% decrease है 10 to 6 हुआ, तो demand आपकी खाली 20% बढ़ी है. 40% decrease in price has resulted in increase in quantity demand just by 20%, so total revenue will fall. Okay, we have question number 4 and try to solve it. All of you are requested to try question number 4.
सर डी होगा आंसर।
जी डी आंसर होगा क्वेश्चन नंबर 4 का, लेकिन बाकी लोग भी बताएं जरा डी क्यों आंसर होगा इसका?
क्योंकि सर प्राइस चेंज होने से क्वांटिटी चेंज नहीं हो रही है।
अच्छा, वो तो परफेक्टली इनइलास्टिक नहीं होता। प्राइस चेंज होने से अगर
सर
क्वांटिटी
ये है सर।
सॉरी कौन सा ए?
जी सर।
अच्छा सही है, चलें और भी ऑप्शंस बताएं, और भी किसी के ज़हन में कुछ आ रहे तो। देखिए क्वेश्चन को सही तरीके से पढ़ना बड़ा ज़रूरी होता है।
सर दिस इज परफेक्टली इलास्टिक सर, इनइलास्टिक।
परफेक्ट, अच्छा
नहीं
परफेक्ट,
सर इलास्टिक।
अच्छा परफेक्टली इलास्टिक, अच्छा
सर
चलें।
फीलिंग से।
अच्छा चलें, हम दोबारा से इसको देख लेते हैं। तो डी आंसर है वैसे इसका, इसको देखते हैं कि क्यों डी आंसर है। Okay, in question number 4, examiner says that manufacturer progressively reduces price of his product in an attempt to increase total revenue. Table shows the outcome of this result. So he decreased his price from $10 to 9 and then 8, but his total revenue is same. And it is the situation of unitary elastic demand. Whenever there is unit elastic demand, change in price leads to an equal proportionate change in quantity demand. So total revenue is not affected. Total revenue remains the same. So if we make graph
लेकिन सर
of,
क्वांटिटी सही।
जी सॉरी,
सर मुझे लगा क्वांटिटी डिमांडेड है।
हाँ इसलिए मैं कह रहा था कि it is really important to read this. So if we have price, let's say price on X, or we can have price on Y as well. It's up to you. Okay, if we have price, just a second. Uh, okay, if we have price on Y and total revenue on X-axis, then the graph will look like this. Total revenue is 750, and even if price is 10, price is 8, or price is 9, or price is 8. Yet at each level of price, total revenue is exactly same. And in case of unitary elastic demand, whenever there is change in price and it leads to no change in total revenue or total expenditure, it is known as unitary elastic demand. And now again, we can refer this situation. Now we can refer the situation to our discussion of the topic. Whenever there is unitary or price elasticity of demand is equal to 1, rise in price will lead to decrease in quantity demand, but total revenue and total expenditure remaining the same. And whenever there is fall in price, quantity demand will rise with equal proportionate change, but again total revenue and total expenditure will remain the same. And if we draw the graph showing unitary elastic demand while we are drawing the relationship between price and total revenue, then graph may look like this if total revenue is on y-axis, because if price increases or decreases between P and P1, total revenue remains the same. And it can be like this vertical straight line when we are showing total revenue on X. It shows that total revenue will remain the same, that is 1000. If price is P or P1, it may rise or fall, but total revenue will remain the same. In question number 7, right, we have multiple products: motorcycles, telephone, and football tickets, light bulb, and their price elasticity of demand is also given. Motorcycles have elasticity of demand 1.1.6, and 1.6 is greater than 1, so we call it elastic demand. And telephone cell has unitary elastic demand, which is equal to 1, and football tickets have inelastic demand, that is less than 1. 0.3 is inelastic, less than 1. Light bulb is 0.0, this is perfectly inelastic demand, perfectly inelastic demand. So question says that if price of each item is increased by 1%, for which of these items would the total expenditure increase? And as per the inelastic demand, we know that when price increases, total revenue will increase and total expenditure will also increase. So we have to find out inelasticities of demand. So football tickets have inelastic demand, light bulbs have inelastic demand. So these are the two goods which have inelastic demand, and in case of inelastic demand, if we increase price, total revenue of the firms and total expenditure of the individuals and firms increases. So we can see that in option C, football tickets and light bulbs have inelastic demand. So rise in price of light bulb and football tickets will lead to rise in total expenditure.